I'm Julia. Welcome to Grassroots Analytics Insider. Today we're here with Kiara on our Quiller team. Thanks for joining us, Kiara.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Yay, amazing. Okay, do you want to just jump right in and tell us about yourself and how you got to Grassroots Analytics?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been working in politics since 2019. That's where I got my start. And then I beep-bopped around to a few different campaigns, as one does.
Yep.
And then one of them was in Cleveland, Ohio, with Nina Turner in her special election in 2021.
Gotcha.
And we worked really closely with Grassroots Analytics at the time. You guys actually, you worked here at the time.
I remember, yes, I was here.
You were here. You guys sent some folks out to our campaign to do an embed as part of our embed program. And they were just so lovely. And we worked together really closely. And so I had worked with Grassroots before, and I knew about the amazing work that we do here. And so after that campaign ended, I was like, I want to continue doing that work, and I want to be a part of this organization. So I applied during the campaign, and I came here September 2021. So I've been here for a little over 4 years now.
Yeah. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long. And also it feels way longer.
It sure does. Yeah. I like to think of it as like a bachelor's almost.
Yes. Definitely.
Like I've got my bachelor's of Grassroots Analytics.
Definitely have a degree of some sort. Cool. Okay. So over your 4 years, you have had a couple different roles. Can you tell us about that and then what your role is now?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I joined here, I joined as a fundraising strategist. And so that played into my fundraising experience really well.
Sure.
It was basically a role in which I was able to talk with hundreds of clients that we had around the country and teach them about fundraising and give them our data so that they were able to fundraise effectively. That was definitely really rewarding work because it was really great to be able to interface with so many folks and like get them going with our data. My very first job, actually, I sat in a windowless room and I called all of these, cold called all of these phone numbers I found on the internet to see if they would work so that we could call them in call time. And that was like 8 hours a day, windowless room situation. So we had an army of interns that would also help us farm these phone numbers. So when I got to working here and working with Grassroots before that, just the fact that you just had this amazing database and this power behind it where you could cut out all of that extra work.
Absolutely.
And then like fundraise so effectively and so much more targeted than the way I had been doing it before. It was really, really a revelation. So it was really exciting to then be on the other side of that and being like, I know you might have found all of your data the hard way before, but I'm here to provide you with that list so that you can just get going and not have to think about the data farming.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so encouraging to you that you're able to talk to people and be like, I know what you're doing right now. I've done it and this is better.
That was probably my favorite days as a fundraising strategist is when I would onboard a new client who had done it the hard way and I showed them all of the amazing things we could do with our data and they were just like, oh my gosh, like, where have you been all my life? And I was like, I know, right? Like I didn't need to do this.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was great.
And then where did you move after being a fundraising strategist?
Yeah, so I did that for 3 years here. And then I decided I wanted a new challenge. So now I'm doing product management. And then when we acquired Quiller, I was moved over to work with the Quiller team. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. It's a really exciting new challenge. It's really great that Grassroots offers the opportunities for folks to be able to like try new things, even though I didn't have a background in product management at the time. I've done that since January of this year, and I've grown
almost a year.
Almost a year. So it's been really fun to watch the growth on that, and to be able to be a part of creating the next software for fundraising for progressives.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So in terms of like your role on Quiller, what does that look like?
Yeah. So basically, I handle a number of things. The wearer of many hats for sure. But basically, if anybody has any issues on the support side, if they reach out, if they encounter a bug, I am the face that they might be talking to behind the Quiller support team.
I am Quiller support.
That's me. I sign at Quiller support. It's just Kiara for the most part. So I'll be there. And then I work on the roadmap for where Quiller is going to go from here.
Cool.
Yes. So I will put the resources in to kind of look around and be like, what's some things that we can spend developer time and energy on that are going to be, maybe the lowest hanging fruit? Like what small improvements can we make now, like relatively engineering wise, that will create a really big impact for our users.
Amazing. Okay. So David, who is kind of our face of Quiller as well, introduced the podcast to Quiller back in September. But can you just give us a refresher of what it is and what it does?
Yeah, absolutely. So Quiller is a content writing tool. A common misconception is that it only writes digital fundraising copy. Not true. It does all sorts of copy. You can do persuasion pieces in there. You can do op-eds. You can do scripts. You can do press releases as well.
Wow.
We've got templates for that.
Cool.
Yeah, but it does, in fact, specialize, I would say, and most users tend to use it for digital fundraising copy.
Sure.
Basically, if you have any idea of like what type of content you want to write, it's really hard to turn that idea into like a full-fledged email, especially if you're doing it all of the time, and you need to be pumping out copy, like, you know, for several packages perhaps for that week.
Yeah.
So Quiller is there to help take you from that idea of the content that you had to copy like in seconds.
Gotcha.
And then it'll give you like 80% of a final draft. And then you just go in and you make a couple tweaks to it, put some human eyes on it, and you're ready to go.
Wow. What a tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week we are releasing a Quiller ink drop.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. So I'm so excited about this, and I really love the name. That was ingenious. But basically, this is our latest update to the Quiller software. What it is, I guess now is the time to announce what it is.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So what this is we have updated Quiller's language model to the latest and greatest models. We actually, you notice I might have said models there. We did in fact double the LLM power of Quiller.
Wow.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So now there are actually 2 language models working to power Quiller.
Okay.
The latest and greatest. So you should be seeing some improvements to your copy. It was already good. Now it should be even better. It should be able to listen to your commands a little bit more smoothly. It should sound more like you. So that's really exciting.
Wow, that is really exciting. Okay, so something that we talk about with Quiller is how it's able to capture your unique voice.
Yes.
Can you tell us like what that means and why it's important?
So anybody who has dabbled in digital fundraising or has written any copy for a candidate knows that it's really important to nail the voice that they have, their unique voice, their unique mission. Everybody's different. So Quiller is really great. There's a section where you can fill out like what makes you unique. It's called your talking points, and that's nested under your brand library.
Gotcha.
And you can put in all sorts of things in there. You can literally drop a link, and it will like ingest your key talking points from that link.
Right.
And it will save them for your use in copy later. So you can either tell Quiller like, I want to use that particular talking point to talk about this mission.
Sure.
Or Quiller will organically put that into copy whenever you want to talk about something maybe more generic.
Right.
So Quiller learns your voice really well and is able to like talk about specific things that you might care about because of this. But then it can also, we have our style guide in our brand library. And in there, you're able to put previous pieces of content, and it will analyze exactly what makes you unique. And then it will combine this in order to sound just like you. And it will adopt your voice.
Cool. Okay, great. So when you say that you can drop a link into the software to be able to adopt your voice, does that mean like your website, like if you had talking points on your website or something like that?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That is exactly what it was designed in mind for.
Gotcha.
So essentially, all you have to do is take, like, if you're a campaign, you can take your campaign website and you can just drop that straight into your talking points and press a button, and Quiller will do all the rest of the work for you. And all you need to do is just preview and make sure that it looks right.
Right.
And you're good to go.
Wow.
And you can do that consistently. If there are other things maybe that crop up later that you're like, yes, I want to talk about this, you can drop a link, it will ingest the talking points, and you're good to go. So that way you don't have to spend forever like working with the AI back and forth to be like, this is something that's happened, this is what I want to talk about. Quiller just knows. So it's really, really easy to interact with Quiller to get exactly the right voice out of it.
Wow, cool. It's just like, it seems like such a streamlined approach to, you know, writing your talking points or your campaign platform one time and then being able to use it in all these other applications. It really could save campaigners a lot of time.
Yes, absolutely. Quiller also has a function where you can repurpose previous copy.
Oh.
So if you sent like a text that did really well, you can take that text and you can drop it into Quiller, and Quiller will be like, do you want to do an email with this? It can turn it into an email. It can turn an email into a script, or it could turn a script into a persuasion piece. So basically any copy you have is multi-purposeful, and you can take that and toy around with it, and Quiller's really great at being able to incorporate those talking points.
Yeah, this is really reminding me of something that we talked about when Elise was on the pod, talking about her campaign embed experience. She was saying that it's really effective if people have the same thread running through all of the different parts of a campaign. So like taking the same content and ideas and fundraising to communications, like knocking on doors and talking to voters. And it really seems like Quiller is like helping thread that line through campaigns.
Yes, absolutely. That might take like a while to like take that one talking point and then turn it into all of those different methods of communication.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're really nailing the voice.
Sure.
Quiller already knows your voice. Quiller already knows what you're talking about. And so really it's very, very quick and simple to be able to use Quiller to do this thing.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so this update, doubling the AI power.
Doubling the AI power.
Yes, so exciting. What does that look like for users?
Yeah, so users should expect to see that it understands your unique voice that we were just talking about much more quickly, much more streamlined.
Gotcha.
It's the latest and greatest that we've got out there. So it should be able to listen to your commands a lot easier.
Okay.
It should be able to basically it should cut down the back and forth of the copy editing. It should be able to pump out that first draft to be much closer to your voice and what you were expecting to see very, very quickly.
Right. Okay, so we've doubled the AI power behind Quiller. What does that mean for users?
Yeah. So for users, it will mean that Quiller will better understand your unique voice much more quickly, and it should be able to replicate that much more exactly. So this should have the effect of cutting back the amount of back and forth copy edits that users are having to do.
Sure.
It should be able to pump out your voice much more quickly the first time. Of course, it is AI, so you want to make sure that you're putting your eyes on it and double checking things, but it should cut down on the amount of back and forth that is.
Right.
And what won't change, I would also like to say, we will always continue to use high quality ethical AI that empowers but does not duplicate the work of the people doing progressive work day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. We have really talked at length with David and other Quiller champions about how this is a tool that does not replace digital fundraisers, especially, as well as anyone else who like uses it or writes for any other purpose in the campaign space. It is really something that empowers people to be able to do their work faster and do more of it, but it's not going to ever replace a digital fundraiser because, again, you're right, you need eyes on it. You need someone to be like, actually, this is not the right time to go with this context because of all these other things that are happening in the campaign world.
Exactly. So I like to think of it as Quiller is like your co-pilot.
Yeah.
Quiller's not the pilot. We don't want Quiller out here on the streets driving by himself.
Totally.
But he is a fantastic co-pilot to really get you to where you're going quickly. I like to think of it as like I have a car that has like Apple CarPlay in it, and before I had one that did not, and it getting places took forever. I had to like do some research on where we're going. I'm like trying to like reference my phone somewhere, which is dangerous.
It's like your phone's on a little thing that's falling over half the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so now that I have the CarPlay, I don't have to think so much about where I'm going, which is maybe also not the best case. I will get lost easily, so there's that. But it's a co-pilot. But it's a co-pilot, exactly. I don't have to worry so much about the navigation of how I get from point A to point B. It's just helping me helpfully in the background.
Right. That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so if people haven't used Quiller in a while, is it really that different than it was before?
I say try it and find out.
Okay, cool.
I think this is a great time to get back into Quiller and to give it a go, try out some content, reach out to Quiller support. I'm always happy to help people get the best content possible.
Yeah.
We do offer trainings because not everybody is familiar with how to use language models. And so we do offer trainings on how to get the best out of Quiller and how to make sure that you've set up your brand library properly.
Gotcha.
And then another thing I would like to plug about Quiller
is
and depending on how long it's been since you've used Quiller, maybe this is something you're familiar with, maybe it's something you're less familiar with. When Quiller initially rolled out, it focused on templates. So it had different templates for the different types of content that you might want to write.
Okay.
When Quiller updated so that it's mostly the chat function, now that's kind of the main place where you can go to do all sorts of content. What we're seeing is users do still like to use those original templates because they do actually function as a great way to get you through like the key points of what you might want to write about. So they'll prompt you for questions like, what is the goal of this email? Like, do you have like a numerical value in mind for that? What will donations power? Like, is there a particular moment that we're meeting here? It'll also like help you out in terms of like urgency. It'll be like on a scale of 1 to 5, how urgent is this message? And then it can write for that.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So if you're new to using language models and maybe you're not even sure like what you want to say and you're just like, I need an email, the templates are a really great place to get started because it kind of walks you through some of those key details that Quiller needs in order to generate fantastic copy.
Gotcha. Wow. That's really cool. And that is something that hasn't changed in this.
No,
new
that has not
update.
changed. That is still there, still very easily accessible from the homepage.
Right. And now the content is just better.
Yes.
Okay. So why do you think that innovation in progressive technology is important?
Yeah. I mean, we know that progressives need tools to meet their needs.
Yeah.
The world is changing. AI is here, and it's here to stay. And that's going to have an impact on every industry. So progressives need tools that are safe AI. That's one thing that we do like to emphasize with Quiller, that we are not selling this to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
This is a safe
bad
place.
actors. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Who will be named Elon Musk. We're not going to ever sell the data that goes in here. It's very safe.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, progressives need safe places to put their secrets.
Right.
You know, if your staffers are putting this in the chat GPT, that could be bought. So this is a very safe place for that. So it's really important that the progressive movement make sure that they are also investing in technology and making sure that the technology that they are investing in is safe to be used in these trying times.
Right. Absolutely. And then I also think like another thing that is probably inclusive of safe technology is ethical technology.
Yes.
Making sure that like we are using AI that again is not going to sell to bad actors. It is mission driven. We're here with the same purpose as you as users. So that is something I really like about Quiller too.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So Grassroots Analytics had invested in Quiller when it just got started in 2023 and then ended up acquiring it earlier this summer. So why do you think that Grassroots and Quiller are a good pair?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of leaning back on my time as a fundraising strategist, where I talked to all of my clients all the time and I would give them that data that was so valuable. Again, from my time of having farmed it myself in a windowless room. The next question that they would all ask is, how do I reach out to them? What do I say?
Yeah.
And that, especially for new candidates, is a really hard thing to come up with. It's
Yeah.
like, it's how do you tell your story in a way that's impactful and quick, because you only have these people's attention for, you know, short second, like whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, they're listening for those buzzwords really quickly. So Quiller is really, really handy to be able to kind of complete that suite that we offer, so that we can offer not just here's the data, but also here's a co-pilot that can help you refine that message and make it really, really easy to reach out to these folks, especially for down ballot candidates who maybe don't have the resources to like hire entire firms to do their messaging
or like
for
a campaign
them.
team. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. This gives the power to that candidate to find ways to say their message in a really effective, quick way to make sure that they're getting that out there.
Amazing. So do you think that Quiller has a use case for like very small campaigns all the way up to bigger firms or campaigns as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that too. A use case for like big firms, like digital firms, or like other consulting firms, or like really major campaigns.
Sure.
You can use Quiller because you're probably a lot that you're saying. If you're a really big team, you're probably putting out a lot of content, and writer's block is real. So it's really, really helpful for that. But then it scales all the way down to if you're a down ballot campaign that maybe just has 1 or 2 people, or maybe
just
it's
yourself.
just yourself. Like I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
So this is really helpful because you're wearing so many hats when that's the case. You're working on what data you should be calling. You're working, and that's where we're also helping. You're working on like actually like voter contact, all of the things outside of fundraising, like staffing up, volunteers. Like there's just so much that goes into campaigning.
Right.
So to be able to like put a co-pilot in like that messaging that again is not just for digital fundraising, it goes all around everything that you're doing. It makes it much easier, especially when you're tired and it's the end of the night and you're like, I got to get an email out. Like maybe you don't get the email out if you don't have a co-pilot to help you. Like maybe that's the thing that gets cut. Like I've seen that too. So this way it makes it much easier for you to be like, actually, I do have a quick idea for some content. Let me just drop what I have in a Quiller, and Quiller can provide me with the rest, and we're good to go.
Amazing. Yeah. It really is such a, like we are talking about empowering writers, but we are actually empowering people to run for office because like that person who you were just describing who is like all of this communication, it's just me, it's actually too hard, this isn't sustainable. We are now making it more possible for people to run more effective campaigns, reach more people, and communicate more effectively.
Yeah,
So
and I think that
exciting.
this really ties into Grassroots' mission statement too,
Yeah.
to lower the barriers to entry for candidates. We'll help you, like if you're not a millionaire, like we have
Yeah.
Grassroots data that is able to help you fundraise,
Yeah.
and we now have the messaging power so that you have a co-pilot to help you reach those people.
Right.
Which really makes it easier for people to get into this.
Wow. Okay, so if you are someone who has maybe never used Quiller, who hasn't used Quiller in a while, or just is a regular user who wants to come see the updates and the new double power LLM, double the AI power, where can people see this in action?
Yeah, so if you are watching this podcast, you probably got our newsletter. In this newsletter, there should be an advertisement for a webinar that we're having coming up.
Yep.
Definitely sign up for that webinar. David's going to lead it, and he's going to walk everybody through how to get the most out of Quiller.
Sure.
So that will be really exciting. There's also going to be maybe a special present announced on this webinar.
It's the holidays after all. Yeah.
Exactly, a little holiday present perhaps. That's all I'll say on that, but definitely tune in to find out.
Amazing. And then also David is very happy to go through and do personalized demos for
Yes.
users who are already in the platform and just want to refresh with this new technology.
Oh, absolutely. I always say, like, if anybody ever has any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to hop on calls with folks to walk through how to get the best results out of Quiller, set up Quiller for you, and then also we're always here to help. If you run into any issues, comments, questions, please direct them our way.
Wow, amazing. We love user feedback.
I, as a product manager, really love user feedback.
Yes.
So please reach out to Quiller Support and tell me what you think.
Amazing. Well, Kiara, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to
course.
hear about this ink drop. We can't wait to hear what's next for Quiller and get people on the platform.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yay. Okay, great.
And yeah, please try Quiller. It's really, really cool. And I'm really, really excited about this new LLM update.
Yay. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.